when I was in high school, I had a job, and I worked at a chicken farm, an egg farm, and that's part of why I have my own chickens and eat my own chickens. Is because the cruelty that I witnessed in factory farming, it's really insane. So I had a friend in the past, we're no longer friends, because they weren't really ever my friend. They were just there to exploit my generosity, and they're really a problem in my life because they didn't really care about my well-being. They just cared about extracting wealth and attention from me. And man, life got so much better when I got rid of them. And but anyway, she was a big time hypocrite because she thought that I was a bad person because I killed chickens and ate them. She ate chicken all the time. So you're incentivizing factory farming where the chickens have confined spaces. They don't have a lot of room to move around. They just live in horrible living conditions. It's absolutely it would change you a little bit unless you're just absolutely heartless. It's just insane. And then you kind of weigh it with human value. You know, humans are the most intelligent and most empathetic and most cruel creature. With the capacity for social intelligence, it comes both the ability to be even more cruel and even more compassionate, even more kind. And so a lot of people will sometimes say humans are so bad, and they'll ignore all the good humans do. And, you know, with power comes the ability to do both, you know, and really to be more gentle. Cruel springs from contacting someone else. So then someone else has the job of getting contacted to someone else. So then someone else has the job of getting business every day. And I really believe that we're omnivores, that we need meat and plants. And some people say, well, we're intelligent enough and we have empathy enough that we can go vegan. There's a lot of things they haven't really thought out. You know, how much habitat would be destroyed if so many animals to people who are vegan, they're kind of selective. It's like they care about the cute and cuddly animals, but they don't really think about all the other animals that get destroyed to produce their vegetables. And it's more sustainable to have a mixed plant and animal farm than it is to have a just animal or just plant farm. You know, the web of life, there's all these symbiotic relationships between bacteria, fungi, plants, and animals. And you really get the most food out of land if you have them both. If you have the animals for the plants. The parts of the plants you don't eat can be fed to the animals. The animal manure can improve the soil. And there's so many other reasons. There's so many other factors. But so the vegan is not as hypocritical, though, as the people that say, oh, you're a bad person because you kill chickens and eat them. Meanwhile, they're eating chickens at McDonald's, and those chickens have went through a horrible existence. My chickens, most of them, you know, I don't eat all my chickens. Some of them I live out till they die of old age. Some of the chickens I kind of form attachments to, and I'm not going to kill them. I'm going to breed them, and then when they when they age out and don't lay eggs anymore, they have there's institutional memory of the flock. They know what they can eat, what they can't eat, and they have value as an elder to the flock to teach other chickens other things. So sometimes keeping an old chicken, even though they don't lay eggs anymore, it's worth it because they'll teach the young chickens how to find food, what all kind of plants and insects they can eat, and how to catch them. And they're still producing manure. But then I do eat chickens, but I just think it's really crazy that somebody who's going to eat chicken is going to tell me I'm a bad person for killing a chicken and eating it. Meanwhile, they're eating chickens all the time, and that's leading to those chickens being killed. Now, my chickens, even if I eat them, they lived a much better life than if they would have been on a factory farm. They get released, they get to walk around, they get to graze on pasture, and they get to play, they get to entertain themselves, they get to do all kinds of things. And they're a lot happier. And you can tell the sound of a happy chicken versus a chicken that's living in fear. And on a factory farm, you just hear all these chickens wailing in anguish, and it's just terrible. It's just really terrible. And if more people would have backyard gardens and their own chickens and animals, you know, there wouldn't have to be all these factory farms where animals have very miserable lives. And, you know, like a lot of people, they'll just wring a chicken's neck. I don't do that. And you don't have to sharpen the blade if you do that. You don't have to, you can just pick the chicken up, swing its neck around and break it. So I understand that people do it because convenience, but I think it's kind of barbaric. I think it's kind of barbaric. So I've always just calmed them down, covered their eyes up, because you know when it's dark they just go to sleep, and then I would just chop their heads off with a hatchet and hang them upside down so their heart beating pumps the blood out faster. And it's just it's a more humane way to end the chicken's life than wringing its neck. I think it's much better to just chop their head off than just break their neck and swing them around. I think it's kind of just, it's unnecessarily cruel. There's a better way. Now, of course, you can't be as lazy doing it that way. You've got to take more time and preparation, and there's more to be done. But I think, and then you will have to sharpen the blade eventually. But I think it is healthier to eat a chicken that died quickly in a peaceful, rested state. If you kill a chicken while it's asleep, it's not full of fear. You know, if you just wring that chicken's neck, it's full of adrenaline, it's full of fear, it's full of stress hormones, and all them stress hormones are pumping through the meat, and then you're eating those stress hormones. I think that's why a lot of people are obese. I mean, most of the obesity is because people are eating more calories than they're burning, I mean, obviously. But the stress hormone makes your body hold on to fat. And, you know, a lot of people, all the meat that they're eating has been killed in a very cruel way, and the animal's got a lot of stress hormones. And that's another reason that I don't like factory farming. They're more, you know, there's better ways to go about. I think that if you're going to eat meat, you should respect the life and respect the sacrifice of that life to sustain your life. You know, there's certain you know, and like where this former fake friend hypocrite of mine would say that I was being cruel because I, you know, killed the chicken. They're way more cruel because they're subsidizing factory farming chickens that are being killed in a much more cruel way, and that is on their hands. You know, that is because of people like them. People that, I understand everybody can't be all things. You can't do everything. No one ever has. There's never been, humans have always existed as a community and working together. There's never been humans where each human does everything. You know, makes the pots, makes the shovels, farms the grain, farms the cows, makes the, you know, there's always been one person's better at this, one person's better at that, and there's more efficiency, and it benefits all people for people to share their skills. So I'm not saying that, obviously, everybody doesn't live on land that's good enough to farm. Some people live out in the middle of the desert. So somebody might be living in the middle of the desert. It's not a good condition to have cattle, but there's frankincense and myrrh out there in the desert on these bushes, and they can go collect their resin, and they can go trade with somebody who lives in a different area that's growing the grain and the food and all that. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to guilt people and say, if you buy chicken, you're a bad person. Everybody should grow their own food. I know everybody can't do that. And I know if everybody was growing their own food, who's going to be making the washing machines and dryers? Who's going to be making the cars? So, but I think it's really crazy that people will say that I'm the cruel one, when actually I do have respect for the life of the chickens. And I know some people, they'll have chickens for eggs, and then they'll go buy chicken meat and eat chickens. And it's the same either way. Like, you might as well be eating your extra chickens, because you buying a chicken for $10 in the store is subsidizing chickens subsidizing factory farming, where chickens are living horrible, horrible lives. If you ever saw it, it's terrible. I'm going to go pay my phone bill. I actually did come up on the money. I'm going to just get off this live stream, I guess.